All right, so here we are, day 2. And as you can see, the glitter is not pooling at the top of the skull as it did with the previous ones. But it is not clear because it is so full of those air bubbles that we worked into it while we were working with it at such high viscosity. So, time for what are we on now? Take 4. Take 4. I obviously have overfilled this, but for the purposes of this, it doesn't really matter. Now, there's some bubbles in here, but I think they're going to be rising to the top. It's still fluid enough that they're rising to the top, which I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't mean that that's bad for the glitter staying up. We'll see. This one I think is the most promising. Did we find the magical formula? Not yet. Here's our first one, and here's our second one. And the main difference that you can see is that on the second one, there's more dispersal towards the bottom, whereas it really empties out towards the bottom on the first one. Now there is some translucency lost, although it's very slight. That's very, very apparent with the third trial that we did. With the fourth trial, the dispersal of the holographic glitter is incredibly even. But it loses some of that transparency. So, that being said, I really didn't want to do this, but it looks like we're going to have to do one more trial, and hopefully this one will be the magical one that works. Alright, so I'm looking at this piece, and it's definitely not as clear as the first and second ones. And I'm thinking about why that could be. And there are a few scenarios that come into my mind. One is that it could be like this one, where you have the bubbles creating all these different surfaces inside that make it no longer clear. When I'm looking at this one, I don't see a lot of indications of bubbles in the piece. So then what I'm thinking, it could be that our goal to disperse it evenly actually is partly what is causing the lack of clearness. Because if you see, even when you put in the same amount of glitter, on this one, most of it goes straight to the top. So it's just less dense. So all the light reflection and the density of glitter and, you know, the density of light reflection because of the density of glitter, all that, it passes through, you can see through much more clearly towards the bottom than obviously at the top. So maybe if I just put a little bit less glitter in, then the effect will be better. We've hit our stated goal for this experiment. Our goal was to disperse the glitter evenly, which we definitely got that in this example, but that was a bit, and this one too, but they were a bit beyond what we wanted in terms of opacity and translucency. So we went beyond that and we tried to figure out how to make this more clear, which we did make improvements on, but that wasn't the stated mission of this little episode series. So, I mean, we could lessen the time that we let it sit a little more, but it's starting to gather at the top again. So if we go any less, it's not going to be a good deal. So I think we're just going to lessen the amount that we put in to the mold, and I think that should be enough to make the difference, hopefully. And we'll also try laminating the piece, which I'll show you how that works in a later video. So stay tuned. We're going to apply what we've learned with these experiments to a very, very special project, which you will be seeing maybe next week.